Okay. So one of the questions that I would have asked is when I'm applying for a scholarship, how would I make my application stand out amongst the rest of the applicants? Because we have a lot of people applying around the world and it's like very competitive. So, what are some of the strategies that I would use to make my scholarship stand out amongst the rest?
And when it comes to scholarship applications, there are various kinds of scholarship applications. There are the general ones, I mean, across board that everybody's allowed to apply. There are some more specific ones that meet certain criteria. Like there was one scholarship that was around this year that was about those who were under the age of 13. So there are those ones for those in developing countries as well. And there are department specific or school specific scholarships. So first, you need to know what kind of scholarship you are applying to. Preferably, we always advise people to apply to the school scholarships because it's a smaller pool of people who are competing for those scholarships as well, as compared to the Erasmus Mundus or a Commonwealth scholarship or a Chevening scholarship, which has almost everybody around the whole world applying for it. So you need to be among the very top 1% or even 0.5% if you want to go to the very extreme. So it means that one, you need to know whether you meet the general requirements. If it says 30, below 30, and you are 31, just know that it won't work. So that's the first and most important thing. So one thing I always want to remind our people, I mean, people from Ghana and across the diaspora, is that there's a need to keep to specific details. Sometimes we tend to gloss over these things. Back here in Ghana, if I'm a main principal, oh, and actually they'll consider me. When it comes to scholarships, there's nothing like they will consider me unless otherwise you might have reached out to the scholarship secretariat and then they have taken your consent on a case by case basis that because of this and this and this, we think we are going to consider you based on that. But now let's come to the main. So generally, you've now met the general requirements. Now, every scholarship might have what it's looking for. Some scholarships might be looking at your leadership experience, your volunteering experience, what you have done, and the impact to society. So you need to first go to what is the vision statement of the scholarship. What is the scholarship seeking to achieve? All of these things are things that you need to carefully take your time and read. One thing I've noticed trying to help most people over the past 2 years is most of people don't like to read. I mean, it's sad. It's sad to say this. You would give them the link to the site to read, and it looks like I mean either they just want one fit or one day they apply, but you cannot use one day to apply to a scholarship. And then it means you can't compete. I mean, let's have a first scale, okay? So all of you are applying are first class students, or you are all students who have gotten admission. So it means number one, you are all on the same scale. You are among the very best of everybody in his or her country. But now, what will give you the edge? First and most important thing is you need to meet the general requirements and specific requirements as stated in the scholarship application. Every scholarship, they take their time to do this. If you read something that you don't understand, you're always allowed to reach out to the scholarship secretariat via email or whichever means to ask for clarification. Or one of the things you can always do is go and reach out to previous participants who have won the scholarship. So, like you who has won Erasmus Mundus scholarship, somebody can see you. I mean, by Bible, they'll see those who won last year. They can reach out to you in LinkedIn. What are the key areas they are looking for? So when you get to know this, you incorporate all of those things in possibly your scholarship essay. So a scholarship essay that you use to apply for maybe a Commonwealth scholarship will definitely be different from a scholarship essay for a Chevening scholarship. So you need to look at all of these details. And then as you try to answer these, you would then now ask yourself, what is so unique about me that I can project about myself that would satisfy these kind of questions? So more or less, like somebody says, for me, maybe I've not had any volunteering experience before. Yes, you might not have volunteered officially for maybe any role, but maybe in school, in church, you have been a Sunday school teacher. That is a form of volunteerism. It's how you be able to carve it out to be that you are being serviceable to your community by helping in this, or maybe the Sunday school have also done some outreaches. So you can pick that outreach, polish it or refine it in a way that shows that you have some level of volunteering experience. Don't say that I don't have. If you say you don't have, just know that assuming they are given their five main criteria and they are marking each of them 20, 20, 20, then that particular one, they are losing all the marks in there. So these are the general basic things that you need to consider when you're starting. I'm sure Lois and then other one will also chip in some other things as well. Thank you.
Very much, Raymond. So thank you, Raymond. It was very, it's like a summary of everything we've talked about from the first day till now. You've done a very good job summarizing everything for us. Shadrach, please, do you want to add your one or two takes on it?
Yeah, I think I'll just add a little because Raymond has said everything, honestly. So I think I would say you just have to pay attention because I think we all, when we started, we applied to a chunk of scholarships, and I think there's a small percentage of people who apply for their first, second time, and then they just win it. Usually you apply to like hundreds of applications, and when that happens, you get to a point where you don't pay attention. So you use the same CV, use the same scholarship letter as Raymond was saying, and then you just apply to 50 scholarships at a time. But what you don't realize is that these people, the panel, they pay attention to the job requirements. So you have to pay attention to the job requirements, tailor your CV to the specific role, tailor everything, your SOP, everything that you're writing, tailor it to the specific requirement, know you're eligible, as Raymond was saying, and then everything you've done, your skills that you've acquired, your volunteer, whatever, make sure you tailor it to the specific requirements of that particular job. Because what we don't realize is that you're applying for this, you're applying for that, and probably you may even apply for maybe assuming like you're a materials engineer, you're applying for a materials engineer role, you see something mechanical, you don't change your CV, and then you just put it in. You've just lost that scholarship. So I think that you just have to pay attention to detail, tailor your CVs, whatever you're writing to make a scholarship specific to the school. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that all what it boils down to is intentionality. You should be intentional when you are applying for scholarships. Yes, you when it gets to some point in time, we become, I won't say desperate, but we want to like get the scholarship by hook or crook. That we apply to a lot of scholarships with just one SOP or one CV instead of just tweaking it to the requirement. So we have to be very intentional when we are applying to scholarships. Dr. Lois, please, do you want to add?
Yeah, I think one of the other things that is also overrated is also keeping a track of the scholarship applications you're doing. And so I am a book person. I'm a paper and book person. I write a lot. So always have a track record and put together all the scholarships that you're applying for. If you are an Excel person or you're a Google Calendar sort of person, please do write everything that you're doing down and follow up. And also leave ample time to have someone look through. Like Raymond said, it's always best to find someone to read through your application for you. And that would mean giving ample time for the person to be able to do that. I mean, whoever you're finding, the person was able to get to that point because anyone at that point will be very busy. And so if you want somebody to have a read through your document for you, give them ample time to do that for you. And you can also be very proactive. I mean, I've got one mentee that puts it on Google Drive, and every other day she makes changes, and you get notifications on the changes she's making. That means that she's actively working on the document. So you would want to meet the person so that the person can get the scholarship. Okay. So I've also seen people that have not even had anyone read through at all, and they've gotten the scholarship as well. So if you don't have ample time, you don't hear back from whoever to read through your application for you, just submit it. I mean, and just pray about it as well, right? So yeah, that'll be the only thing. I think they've touched on everything. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a question in the comment section. With regards to Erasmus Mundus, do you have to apply to schools before the scholarship? Okay, so I think this question is directed to me because I did Erasmus Mundus. So with regards to Erasmus Mundus, it's you don't have to apply to the schools. When you apply to the scholarship, you are automatically applying to the schools. For example, I did advanced material science and engineering at AMAZE. So when you're applying, you you have to there is this application portal that you apply to, and when you're applying you have to select the schools that you want to go to, because it's not only one university. You have to go to different universities depending on the scholarship or on the program that you are doing. So in Erasmus Mundus, it's the just the program that you apply to. And when you apply to the program, it automatically sends you to the universities. For that's what I know per my experience and per most of the Erasmus Mundus programs that I've seen. So you don't have to apply to the school, you apply to the scholarship and it's automatically sent you to the school. Please, I hope I've answered your question. Please put your questions in the comment sections or just raise your hands if you have some questions, because this is not a formal section. It's just a chit chat, like we are just chatting about scholarship over tea, though we don't have tea here. So yeah. Okay, so maybe I would ask the panelists what are some of the challenges that they encountered during their applications and how were they able to overcome those challenges. So Shadrach, you can go first, then Raymond, then Dr. Lois, if she's around.
Sorry, Baba, can you please repeat the question?
Okay, so it's just a general question. What are some of the challenges that you encountered when you were applying for, let's say, your PhD? What are some of the challenges you encountered and how were you able to overcome those challenges?
Okay, so I would say for me it was transitioning from one field of academia to a different field of academia, because I mean my undergrad was in materials engineering, my master's was based in materials engineering. So moving to electronics engineering, that was like a big step and that was a big challenge. So I had to read a lot about electronics. I had to find a thin line where materials engineering meets the kind of work I'm going to do, because I understood that, like you can have like a canopy project, right? Where the whole project is based on one specialty. But then for the fact that you have skills in one aspect of whatever you're doing, it may require you, right? So for example, in an organization, right, even if it's an engineering firm or whatever, they need people in finance. So you need people with special set of skills to work there. And that is where I had to find out, okay, so how does my skill apply to this kind of project? And then I used the materials engineering knowledge that I had to build up to prove a point that, okay, so when I come in, this is what I'm coming to offer. And that is what I realized, that you will be employed based on what you can offer, right? Not what usually I think a lot of people would think, okay, I want to apply for a PhD. What can this school offer me? But then sometimes you forget about the fact that it's an institution and then they need help. So what can you offer them? And so that was the biggest hurdle for me, like having to figure out the skills that I've achieved or attained. How can I use those skills to offer some help in that kind of sector? And that is how come I built my documents towards, and then yeah, it was successful. So I think that for me, that was like the biggest challenge, and that's how I was able to overcome that.
Okay. Raymond? Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. So for me, I think since Shadrach has dealt with one angle, let me also come from the other angle. But I think one thing I want to say about what he said, which is quite crucial. You see, he talks about how his finance background gave him an edge whilst he was applying for this. That is to remind everybody about the need to be doing some certification and some skills, okay, across board as at now. Just look at what are the requirements for the scholarship you want to apply next year or next 2 years. One thing I learned in school was that even as you are in school, I think I learned during my attachment that as you are in school, when you see any engineering adverts, go and look at it. Ask yourself, which of these skills do I have? If I don't have it, then I need to start learning towards it. So you always look into the future. So what are the things that the current scholarship winners are using, or their key things that is making them win? If you don't have it, you start doing it. If you have to do some courses on Coursera or whichever way, I mean, just do it. And that now online learning allows us to do all of this. And so that is one thing I want to say, that some of the challenges you have, I mean, for these scholarships is, I mean, let me come from the other angle. Work. Most often than not, when you're applying for grad school, you are not at home. You are working. And you might do the 8 to 5 job. I mean, you will come home very stressed out, Charlie. You don't even sometimes the brain, because sometimes you might even have overtime work to do, work you bring home, but you are not able to do it. But that is when resilience comes across. Now, there's one video on YouTube during one TED talk on grades. The title is "The Power of Grades," and it says that one one undeniable trait of the most successful people in any field across any endeavor of life is grades. That determination, that perseverance, that they're able to push forward. Sometimes we all feel so tired. You can't push, you can't do any further. But that is when you also need to rise up and push further. My wife will tell you that, I mean, for consistently for the past 2 years, Friday night, Saturday night are my time for applications and scholarships and stuff. So Friday night after church prayer, I come eat stuff. Then I sit on my laptop from 10 o'clock, 10 up to like 4. On Saturday at least we are free. So I do that to 4, or anytime I feel sleepy, then I sleep. I wake up. If I have somewhere to go, I go and do it. So that being able to navigate, because I have friends who are now, you send them stuff they want to do, but they are not able to balance it. But you see, one thing somebody said that if you look at where you are going to, you'll be able to make the sacrifices now. So, according to the principle of the 7 habits of highly effective people, is what it says. It says the heights of great men were not achieved overnight, but they, while their companions slept, toiled throughout the night till they had the success that they wanted. So yes, you come to work. Sometimes you feel very sleepy because you had done an overnight work. I remember one application I did, I think last year, University of Houston. I was supposed to submit January 15th. And the good thing for me was that we are 5 hours ahead of the state. So 5 a.m. Ghana time. That night, I tried to do the basic stuff at work. So when I got home after work and church, 10 o'clock, from 10, I did up to like 4:40. I said, hey, it's okay, whatever, but let me submit it. So it meant I didn't sleep that night. But when I was done, I checked, it was going through. I took a 30-minute sleep, got up around 5:20, just to get the brain sorted out, and went to work. That day, I didn't sit down at work because I knew as soon as I sit down, I might fall asleep. So these are the challenges you need to push beyond whatever is holding you back, and then you'll be able to push on. I'm sure Lois will be able to add other challenges and how they have overcome it. Thank you.
You so much. That was very, very insightful. One thing I got from what Shadrach and Raymond says was you have to be, when it comes to scholarship application, you have to be very smart. You have to be very skillful too, because, for example, Shadrach did material science and he's doing PhD in electronic engineering. So he was able to transition from materials to electronic. That's some kind of skill that you have to have. And you have to be very proactive too, and a visionary person. You have to see the future from now. Like you don't have to just sit down for things to happen to you. You have to try and make things happen. That was very, very insightful. Dr. Lois, do you want to add one or two takes then? Yeah, we go to the questions in the comment sections.
Okay, I think the question was, what are some of the challenges when it comes to scholarship applications? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, I'm in the middle of work. Some of us, I'm in the US, so I'm swapping between time, and I'm making it look like I'm having lunch, so you can see me on and off. Anyways, I think one of the things I sagged my mind was the fact that rejection is not personal. Rejection does not mean that you are not enough. I think that's one of the things that pulls a lot of people back. When they get one rejection, they feel like, no, I'm done. I'm so done because one of my mentees was saying she's applied to one scholar and she's so tired, she's so drained. I said, well, then that means you're doing something right because the process is supposed to drain you. The process is not supposed for you to just submit documents. Like Shadrach was saying, some people don't tailor the document, they just submit it. And when they don't get feedback, they say, I've been applying to a lot of scholarships, I don't get feedback. But you're not applying to effectively. Okay, it's the same thing with, applications, job applications in Ghana. There was one job I was, volunteering, like I wanted volunteers for, and people were submitting their CVs, and they just send the CV to the email. I want you to assume that is the role it is. It showed me how people just apply for things without any cover letter, without anything, no email subjects, nothing. So it showed me that people can apply for things, apply them anyhow, and still complain that they've been applying a lot. So rejection is not personal. It shows that as at that time, they considered a lot of people and somebody was closer to. There's always greater than or equal to, or lesser than or equal to. So there was somebody equal to the role. You could have been greater than. You could have been just a little bit lesser than. 22 lesser than 23. It's not 23. So you are just at the verge of jumping that bridge and you give up. So take it in your mind, as many as you apply for or as few as you apply to, do it very well and don't take the rejection personal. That's my advice. That's my challenge. And because I was at that verge before and I almost gave up.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge. That's like the most common challenge during applications, whether for job or for something that you wanted to apply to, that you want to get into. Like it's a very common challenge, giving up when we are at the verge of getting what we wanted. So yeah, don't give up. So I would go to the
Can,
comment
can I
section.
can I chip
Yes,
can I chip
please.
in something on what
Yes,
you said?
please.
I think Lois, thumbs up for dear young graduate. I think you're doing a very good job with this. I mean, the vision behind this is very great. And I think sometimes the challenges we have with these things, for me, haven't evaluated my life, my 4 years in school in Ghana, 2 years for the masters and whatever. I see that our educational system is not conscious enough to prepare us for after school. So people come from school and then they don't even have a CV. I know people, as and when we are in school, you should be able to have even have a skeleton of your CV down, and then you can even should have even showed it to your lecture, something like these are things I learned when I finished school, not when I was in school. So if I knew this when I was in school and somebody had, oh, this is what I would have been more intentional about the things I would have done when I was in my final years in school to polish up and be ready for life after school. And this is one thing it's a client call I'm seeing to all of us. I mean, if there is any lecturer or anybody faculty watching us in this country, I mean, and across board, let's have that intentionality of preparing our students for after school. If we don't do that consistently, we'll have our friends from the other parts of the world always hit the scholarships and we are always behind because we haven't been prepped in one way or the other. So aside that is to everybody. Since it is not being supplied by the educational system, then it means you need to do the self-directed learning. So dear young, I mean, Lois started doing this since way back. Lois will tell you that I've been watching the videos from way back. So go. There are many. Don't always look at what we are doing now. You can go as far back as 2022. Take your time, watch the videos, learn, pick the tips, and they will all help you. And I'm sure you'll be able to scale up and then move to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Sorry,
Raymond.
sorry, I don't know if I'm delaying, but then I just want to chip in something. And then
Yeah, please chip in.
said, I think it's also important to have a mentor or a friend who is genuinely interested in what you're doing. I'll share my own. I mean, from time to time, Lois will text me, Charlie, I hope you still did top. And just would be like, let's say like in 6 months intervals. Sometimes I would want to give up. When I see Lois's message, I'll just get up and then I'll just keep on applying. And that is what I did. And when I won the scholarship, guess the first person I texted? Dr. Lois. So I think having a mentor, having a friend who is genuinely interested in where you want to go really helps.
Samsung S please can you like write your name when you enter or change your name? You can go ahead. Okay. So I will just yeah, read the questions in the comment section then. So
Yeah,
and
hello.
yeah,
Hello.
hello. Please introduce yourself, then go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I'm called Godwin. I also come from Ghana, but currently in the UK, Nottingham. I completed MSc Biomedical Science from Nottingham Trent University. I'm currently trying to apply for some PhD programs. I know it might not go directly with a scholarship something, but in Ghana, my undergrad's research, we tried publishing, but it was rejected. And I don't know if I can add that to my CV at the publication section and write that the manuscript was rejected, or I shouldn't even put anything of that sort.
Okay, who would want to answer? Dr. Lois?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it there. Um, it doesn't convey a very good. I mean, we know in academia, we know that publications do. I mean, it's rejected, but you can write that it's a thesis topic under the publication. Maybe it's a thesis topic or a work, a publication topic, but don't write whether accepted or rejected. You can just write the publication topic there. I mean, what they'll be interested in probably a PhD interview is to ask you questions about that topic far more than whether the publication was accepted or not. Okay, so don't either write accepted or rejected. Just write publication topic so and so, and just leave it there. That's what I would do personally. And you don't necessarily need a publication also to get a PhD. So if that is also the reason why you want to put it there, it does. I mean, I didn't have a publication before a PhD anyways, and I got it. I don't know about man like Shadow. So don't feel too obliged to put it there. It's best to rather say probably topics you worked on, or thesis topics you worked on. That is more exciting to them, and see how it aligns with the call that you're applying for. I want to also ask, you said that the topic you did and the PhD you're applying now are two different things. Have you found a way to link the two?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if you found a way to link the two, that is the skill they want. They want to be able to see whether like Shadrach Dig Materials is doing electronics, but it's doing wearable technology where materials has a huge impact on electronic base. I mean, we do electronics in materials in engineering as well. So finding that clear cut, link between what you did prior and what you did before is what they want to see, and you having a very strong command of that is what they want to see rather than probably a publication. If they see it's fair enough, but a thesis topic is just fine. I hope your question, I mean, anyone can add something to it.
So I think that I agree with Dr. Lois. For me too, I didn't really have a publication when I was applying for my PhD. It was just my master's thesis and my bachelor's thesis. And funny enough, it was my bachelor's thesis that had a connection with the PhD that I was doing. So you don't really need a publication. You just need to write, oh, in my bachelor's thesis, I did this research, master's, I did this research. So yeah, I think for my end, you don't really need a publication, but you can write the topic there but don't write whether accepted or rejected. So yeah, I don't know if Shadrach Raymond would want to add.
Okay. So I think you can also the other ways around it. Sometimes what you can do, I think there's ResearchGate, which is an open source publication platform. So you can put it there as long as you have the clearance from your school to show it. So you can put it there, and when you put it there, what you do is that because background checks or the supervisors or faculty do check up on you, when they put your name into Google search, your name will pop up on ResearchGate. So at least they can have a fair idea of they can read through it as what is there. So even though you've not been able to publish it in a journal or a more, how do I call it, or a more authentic kind of publication, at least they have access to it and they can have a fair view of what you actually did there. The other way you can also do is you can also write a review of that that thesis that you did and post it on your LinkedIn page. So you know that LinkedIn is one thing, and that is also to emphasize. I want to emphasize at this point, LinkedIn is very important. If as at now, I mean, even if you are in SS3 and you're watching us today because you will apply for undergrad next year, make sure you create a LinkedIn account. You create a LinkedIn account. It starts from somewhere, baby steps. So just like the way you're on Facebook and TikTok, create LinkedIn account because faculty would always check that very well. I remember one person in one group this year was saying that he never knew the faculty checked his LinkedIn account. It was the day, I think 2 days after his interview, when he went to his LinkedIn and he saw those who had viewed, and he saw this person from this school. This I said, hey, and I said, you never knew. So it is just to tell everybody that these are things that are done. So that is the way around it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I would go to the next questions in the comment section. N is asking, I don't know if that's a name. How do you gain clarity on what to write about in SOP if you have had multiple experiences and you think they are all important? Who do you want to go first? Shadrach?
Yeah, I think I'll take this. I think the more experience you have, the better. I don't see how that's a problem. So the more experience you have, the more you find a way to tailor it to the job description. So your SOP is like your statement of purpose. Why do you want to take this program? Why should we consider you for the scholarship? So you having a lot of experience is actually a good thing. I don't see how it's a bad thing. The problem is that you have a lot of resources, you have a lot of experience. How do you merge all of these together to make it very interesting? Because first of all, remember that there are humans who review these applications and not machines. So how do you appeal to their emotions? And that's what the statements of purpose is. Sometimes it's very interesting because there are some scholarships you can take it away from academia. And like how Raymond was talking about volunteering, sometimes if you talk about how you volunteered in your community to help people, you'll be surprised that that will be that key link to get you into that scholarship than your first class and then your hundreds and then your A's and then whatever. They want to know the person. They want to know that human being that they are going to give you this grant because the scholarship is money. So they want to know that, okay, if they help this person from level A to level B, what impact can the world have from this person? So first of all, they are going to improve you. They're going to give you that money. They're going to give you that opportunity. But in turn, how would you give back to the society? So if they see that you've done some work in your community, if they see that you've gained some experience and you've helped some people, then you are the ideal candidate that they'll be looking for. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Raymond?
Okay. I think concerning the multiple experiences and the challenge, Asha, like you were saying, sometimes the challenge might also be the limitation of the words. So maybe 2 pages, and the person has so many experiences, but it said that your SOP is you without you being there. So it's actually you without you being there. So you should be able to find a way to put this in. And as of now, I think ChatGPT helps us in a particular way. Now, I'm mentioning ChatGPT with a level of caution or AI. AI is supposed to be used in a smart way as a grad student or as an academic person. So what you do is that, assuming you have written what you want to write, maybe let's say 3 paragraphs, and you want to compress it into 1 paragraph, you can give the command to let's say ChatGPT, summarize this into 1 paragraph of these number of words for me. Then it does the first level for you. What then you do is you don't do the copy and paste. And I'm emphasizing again, don't do copy and paste. You take your time. Now, as it has summarized it, now then you would humanize it by picking those summarized points and then rephrase it into your own words so that your 3 paragraphs are now compressed into that 1 paragraph. And you'll be surprised how you'll be able to now still mention all of those experiences still within that 1 paragraph. Sometimes I think the challenge that we have is sometimes our writing or communication skills. I think our English teachers will need to help us a little bit more at the undergrad level. It's not their fault. Sometimes we have this perception that but metibrofo, so metibrofo, why should I pay attention? But it is when you are applying for these things that you understand the need for the technicalities that you were being taught during the com skills lesson that the boys were fooling at the back and talking about football and stuff. So please, if you are in school now, please pay attention. Pay attention because one day you need it. Thank you.
Okay. So I think that I'm trying to get the question in a different direction. For example, let's say I did my thesis in a field, let's say biomedical engineering topic, and I did my master's in, let's say, a topic in I don't know, nanotechnology. I'm doing material science. So there is this chance that I'll be doing like different topic or research topics. How would I tailor it in such a way that, let's say, my PhD is biomaterials, and I did something in nanotechnology, I did something in electronics, but it's under material science. Would it be relevant to mention the research topic in nanotechnology in biomaterials, or it will be irrelevant? And how would I go around this?
Let me come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give an example. Because materials engineering, like, it will be very easy. So let me go to something that is less difficult, less easy, difficult. I mean, why did I? Anyways, so let's say you did something in biochemistry, okay, and you want to go do a topic in food and nutrition. So probably yogurt production, how bacteria affects yogurt production, yeah? Now, what I would do is, in biochemistry, there's obviously topics that you definitely would have done that has food related in question. And I'll talk about the experience that you've gained through these courses that have a link to food related stuff. And of course, they are all science related. So you can talk about a topic or a course that you did in biochemistry that has a relation to how bacteria grow,
Yeah.
how they affect yogurt production, something like that. I also know somebody who did communication and is now a STEM educator. And what they were studying was the effect on education in STEM related courses. So she was using communication to be able to sample data that was looking at the next future scientist in question. Okay, so she doesn't have anything to do with STEM. She hasn't done any STEM related stuff. But because of her education background, she's tailoring projects that could help in science education. Another person did law. And now they are looking at fintechs in West Africa. Now she's talking about regulatory compliance checks that could, relate to the fintech financial sector and how those regulations needs to be backed by the law and be affected, have some law down so that nobody does anything and everything, because fintech is a big field, and and that can in fact also affect trading in ECOWAS in West Africa. So something like that. I think I've given enough example.
Yeah, and I think that I'll also add my example to it. For example, I did polymer plastic testing. My field is into plastic testing. But when I was in my bachelor's year and doing my master's, I did something related to chemistry. I did some chemistry topics. And in my PhD is chemistry, like synthesis sparse, so it's chemistry. So when I was writing my statement of purpose, instead of only concentrating on the plastic engineering aspect, I also included that I did this topic in this number of topics in my bachelor and my master's year, and so forth and so on. So I could transfer that knowledge to my PhD. And I also show that, yes, in as much as I won't say I'm not really a good chemistry student, no. In as much as I didn't really do chemistry, I'm willing to learn in the field. So you should also show some commitment, some willingness that in as much as that is not really exactly your field, you've had some experience in the field and you're willing to actually learn when you are doing your PhD or you're doing your master's. So yes, you might have a lot of experiences, multiple experiences, but you have to be selective or smart about what you should include and what you should not include. If your master's or your PhD is about a specific topic, you should your central theme should be around that topic. Whatever experiences that you are writing about, it should surround or yeah, what was it called? It should be around that topic. So that's like what I want to also add. Okay.
Can I chip in something?
Yes,
So
please.
I think I like the law example that Dr. Lois gave. So it was the focus was on fintech, and fintech is mostly about finances and then technology. But the person brings in law. So it's like, wow. So sometimes you bring in something that the faculty or the reviewers were not considering, but
Yeah.
it tricks their brain. That's wow, okay, this is also worth looking at because it's also within the space. So as we always say, try and find the alignment, like how Shadrach was saying about his own. So always try and but the most important thing is you always try and put it in a way that it suits the central team. When you say central team, I remembered something. I think I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I think maybe the school I went to, let me say my school I went to, we didn't learn topic sentences when we were kids, how to write paragraphs very well. So later on, then I noticed that, oh, okay, for every paragraph, there is one main key idea, like a topic sentence for which you are developing. So if you have challenges in writing these things, please, I beg you, please find some time, go and read about topic sentencing and paragraphing. It'll help you to be able to articulate your ideas because, as you said, all the ideas must match up to the central theme, which is the main one, but maybe broken down into 3 or 4 major paragraphs. And if you're able to, so maybe sometimes you might even highlight the first experiences in paragraph 1. But when you come to maybe to paragraph 4, then you find a way to chip in that other one in there because you know what you are doing. So there's a skill behind this, but I think that maybe we might have to have some writing sessions maybe later on in the this academic year ahead of us to help people be able to go around this. So that is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Samsung SM has raised his hand again. Sorry, I've forgotten your name. Very sorry. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name again is Godwin. Please,
Godwin.
yeah, please, I'm still, having questions around CV and other things. How to get, how to write my CV to a specific PhD application. I have research experience. When I was in Ghana after my undergrad, I used to write research or project work for people and take money. Now I'm applying for this project, this PhD that has a relation with some of the topics I wrote for people for money. Can I add those topics to my research experience? Even though I didn't submit it in school for maybe a degree or for anything, nobody supervised me. I was submitting it to the students to give it to their supervisor.
No, I don't think so. It's confidential. Like
Okay.
it's something confidential that's it you did with the person or with the people. So I think that you don't have to submit it. It's not right, I think. I don't know for Raymond and Shadrach and Lois' point of view, but I think that you don't have to add it. No. It's like you're
Yes.
stealing
I
people's
think I
topic.
think you're right. You're right, Baba. It's yeah, it's an ethics problem.
Yeah.
An IP. Yeah. So you cannot steal someone's knowledge or someone's intellectual property and then make it your own. I think that will go against like an ethics thing. I mean, if you want everything to be legal, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so we have a lot of questions. I hope we'll be able to finish in time.
Don't worry.
Uh,
Some of the questions, as we answer it, some the answers will
yeah,
follow.
the answers are in, so we just skip it. Thank you, DYG, for the opportunity. I would appreciate if the panelists could clarify the differences between personal statements, statements of purpose, motivation letter, expression of interest. So if people are your own, okay, so who would like to go first?
That's
So
not okay. So Shadrach, you go.
okay. Well, well. Okay. I mean, f from my point of view, sometimes it's challenging, but then I think. It depends on where the grant is coming from. That's what I've noticed. Different countries or different organizations term the same thing in different ways. Um, whether motivational letter, statement of purpose, all these things goes to show your desire to do this project, or why should we pick you? Why should you be considered the best candidate? So, well, from my point of view, I think that it depends on where the grant is coming from, and then what they are looking at probably is how they are wording it, or especially I think the different one is probably like the expression of interest. Express your interest in this project, right? I think all boils down to deep down, they want you to know, past academia, past whatever, what is your desire? Why should we award you with a scholarship? I think that is the basic things that they're asking for. Well, from my point of view, that's what I think.
Raymond?
Okay, so I really agree with his point there. So I notice most of the time the personal statement, the SOPs come from the North American areas, and then the motivational letters and the expression of interest is from the European areas. That's just a simple rule of thumb. It doesn't mean that it's the same, but just to help. It's all about the same thing as Shadrach said. So I think one thing we need to all consciously do is, as he said, why should they choose you? So the most important thing is that sometimes, we all live our life going for it, but sometimes we forget who we are. So one thing I always try to do is I try to think back into JSS. What were some of the things I did in JSS SS? So we should be able to, you sit down, ask yourself, this is me. What was my life about in JSS? Write some key pointers down. SHS, write some key pointers down. Uni, key pointers. Then by the time you see that there will be a general pattern that flows through. Then you'll be able to carve a story, a brand selling point about yourself, that this is who I am. So when you're able to put that together, then based on the requirements of that, I mean, scholarship or grant or admission or whichever, then you'll be able to tailor it to suit it. So the keyword we are still saying is that tailor it, tailor it, tailor it. Shadrach and I, even though we all can wear the same suit, if Shadrach gives me his suit, I will need to tailor it to suit me. Otherwise, I'll be oversizing it. If I give mine to Shadrach will need to, or if I can say, so or buy mu. Sorry to street here, but he has to expand it so that he can wear it. So whatever it is, you need to tailor. But if you have a general outview or outlook of who you are, which you have put down, it may be a very simple SOP. Then based on the general or specific requirements for the particular one you're applying, you tweak it or tailor it to suit whatever is given to you there. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's all about tailoring. Tailor. Okay, so Edmund is asking, is it essential to be a teaching assistant before one can secure full scholarship? Is it essential? Please, how many of us were teaching assistants?
Not me.
Shadrach, were you a teaching assistant?
No, not me. No, at all. I've never been a teaching assistant.
You will never do such a thing.
No, I have never been. That's what I'm saying. I have. Even throughout my PhD, I have still never been a teaching assistant.
Oh, that's cool. I think Doris was a teaching assistant. I was a teaching assistant too, but it's really not. Yes, you can be a teaching assistant because it helps you to get close to the professors in terms of getting your reference letter. It becomes easy, and also experience like in terms of research and yeah, but I don't think I would say it's relevant, but you can choose to be a teaching assistant. You can choose not to be a teaching assistant, apply for the scholarship, and if you are intentional about your scholarship application, you definitely get it. So whether you become a teaching assistant or not, it's just up to you. Yeah.
I can I chip in? So I think that it helps. It helps.
It helps.
It really helps, as you are saying. It becomes quite easier because then you'll be doing most likely when you're applying to the school, you have some level of teaching experience and research experience, and then getting recommendation letters is relatively easier as compared to those of us who are not there. We know the challenges with recommendation letters in Ghana. It's not a time to say it. We are on international platform, so we just keep it like that. So, but I think if you don't have it, it does not limit you from getting. So what you do is intentionality. So ask yourself, what are the requirements? Are they requiring teaching experience? Can you volunteer? Because normally your school ends in May, then you start national service in September. Why don't you use that 3 months to go and teach in a school? Something. It's even you see, we need to. So as I said, when you plan going ahead, know what is ahead. Then you know, oh, I lack this teaching experience. Then quickly you find a way to do it in here and there. So I mean, there's no hardcore rule that says that you need to be a TA to secure a full scholarship. It's about your potential, what you bring aboard. Like Shadrach said, it's a job you are applying to. There's a research lab or there's a project they are doing. How useful would you be to them to ensure that they're able to achieve their goal or whatever they want to find in their timeline to satisfy the grant that they have received as a faculty at the faculty level? So you should then find ways and means to better your profile, which I earlier said that you look at skills that you need. As at now, everyone should have advanced their computer skills beyond Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
Do that Microsoft Office suite you have writing, please. I beg you. It's not enough now. Step up. Bring some data analytics skills, either SPSS, you can R, Python, even if it is basic skills, virtual assistant, all of these things add up to make your profile better. And then they can then be able to give you their scholarship as well. So I think that is quite clear. It's not always important, even though it helps, but you can still get it without being a TA. Thank you.
Okay, so some people have raised their hands. I'll go to Patricia, then Samuel. Patricia, please go ahead with your question.
Hello, thank you. My name is Patricia. I got admitted into a master's program, a master's in engineering management at University of Texas, Arlington. But the offer letter came without funding. So I wanted to ask, what are my next steps? What do I need to do in order to secure funding as such now? I got a mail yesterday, so now honestly, I don't know how to get around it. So maybe if I can get some help from here. Thank you.
Baba, should I take it?
Yeah, you can take it.
Okay, great. So, at least congrats. First thing, congrats. First step, I mean, key thing done. Congrats on your admission to my master's engineering management at Texas, University of Texas at Arlington. When you get admission without funding. I remember my other aside, so I have two. For me, I always say I have two grad school mentors, Lois and then Dr. Onji Juliet Ntiamwa. She also was at Tennessee State and Tennessee University. So Dr. Onji has also done a special video on what to do when you get admission without funding. You can check her YouTube channel is called Dr. Onji, ONJY. I know Lois I will also have done some. Maybe Lois can tell us which video that she's done like that, so people look for that. But this is what you should do. First thing you do is you reach out to the school. You first ask for, are there funding opportunities available to graduate students? Whoever your department, so or the grad school, the schools have particular places they have their funding opportunities via either scholarship, either campus employment, assistantship, or fellowships. So then you look at them, take your time, read through it. If you have any questions, you ask, you get back to you as well. Then you can apply for them. Some fellowships or some scholarships will need your department to nominate you. So some scholarships are maybe the dean scholarships are maybe for the whole school, but they want it to be fair. So maybe two from each department or each college. So then you would then have to reach out to your department and explain to them about your interest to apply, and then they'll give you the go ahead on the requirements or documentation you need to do, and why maybe they'll do their own internal interview in the department before they'll submit your name to that level. So the first and most important thing is reach out to them and ask, are there any available opportunities for funding like that? Whoever would get that email will reply by sending you the various links or opportunities. That is level one. Level two, you then, knowing that most of the professors have some level of funding due to their research grants and stuff, you can reach out to professors in your master's in engineering management program. Reach out to them in a very well crafted code email. And I know we've done some series on code email. We might do some as the year continues as well. Take your time, as Shadrach has been saying, tailor it. Look at the professor's research interest. Pitch yourself to be relevant to his project that he or she would look forward to bring you on board to his lab. When he or she brings you on board, definitely he would fund part of your either a full scholarship or partial scholarship. So you have to do that one as well. Aside that, most of the campuses, since you are saying US, they have what we call the handshake. So the handshake is the campus employment, other ones that are not necessarily for the department. So try and ask how you can log on to the handshake portal, then apply for on-campus jobs as well. Sometimes you might have some certain job hiding somewhere in the dining or in the library assistant or somewhere. So you need to scavenge for it. So now you look. You can even search on LinkedIn and even reach out to some students that are already there. Sometimes there are certain things that are not necessarily on the website. So those who are there might be able to find these things. So well done on the first half of the job. The remainder is reaching out to them, and then when you get whatever it is, then you can be able to proceed from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, Samuel, please go ahead with your question.
Yes, thank you very much. So, yes, I asked the question on the differences between the statement of purpose and all of that. So, yes, I just want to know, I'm asking in regards to the structure and then the tone. When it's letter, does it have to be, in a letter structure or format, say you put out the recipient and sender's address and all of that, and then what tone should it take? Does it vary across? If it is an expression of interest, does the tone has to vary? Despite the fact that you are still going to include all these important things that the panelists have talked about, but what is the tone going to be like? Yes, that is what actually I want to know. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Raymond, Shadrach. Yeah.
I think maybe let me take this. So I think the tone, first of all, is supposed to be formal. Yeah. And usually the academic employment teams in these universities have templates for whatever they're asking for. So if they're asking for statements of purpose, expression of interest, whatever it is, they have templates, and sometimes it differs from university to university, especially in the UK. So if you go on the website, you should be able to find some templates, and then you can tailor it to what you're applying for. However, if let's assume in the case you do not find any templates here, we are in 2025. There is a big innovation called AI, right? Get into whatever AI you're comfortable, whether it is Gemini, whether it's ChatGPT, whatever it is, go to ChatGPT. But what Raymond was saying, don't do copy and paste, because you will be rejected when they see the M dashes. You'll be rejected when sometimes people forget themselves and then they just copy and paste everything, and then they just go like, okay, hi Samuel, here's ways that you can write your personal statement, and you just copy everything and just put it there. So that is like automatic rejection. So in the case you don't find any templates, go to ChatGTP, put your CV into ChatGTP. That's very important. Put your autobiography. So sometimes write something about yourself, like what Raymond was saying. How were you when you were in JHS? How were you when you were in SHS, uni, whatever? Write something about your life. This is who I am. This is my strength. These are my weaknesses. Just write any gibberish that you want. Put everything together with your CV into ChatGTP. Put the job description and say that follow everything about my life, and then write me an expression of interest for this role. You'll be surprised once you have it. As Raymond said, now humanize it. Write it like how you would write it. And I think that ChatGPT would look at the job description, and then obviously you copy the school that you're applying to. So the AI knows exactly which school you're applying to. It knows exactly what tone you need to use. So it will take care of the tone. What you need to do is to take care of the language and writing it the way a human being would write it.
Thank you very much. I'll run through the questions quickly because I think the questions are a lot now, and we have a few, not a few, but almost half an hour, more than half an hour to finish. So Edward Opare says, again on Erasmus Mundus, is language certificate a primary requirement? Yes, it is a primary requirement. So in Erasmus Mundus, depending on where you are applying to, let's say if your first university or your main university is an English-speaking university, the requirement will be English language certificate, or if you did your bachelor's in English, you can also state it. And for me, my requirement was English language and also willingness to learn Spanish, because they want you to learn maybe two different languages or something like that. But for some programs too, it's just English language and that's it. But for me, I had to do English, had to submit my English language proficiency letter and also do Spanish. And at the end of the course or the program, I had a Spanish certificate, because it's also a requirement that you have to know all these, another language apart from your English language. So it's a requirement. Emmanuel Ewusi is asking, does the program you offered in your undergraduate level matter when it comes to scholarships? I mean, if you would like to continue your studies in another program, but within the same social sciences. And the next question, okay, maybe someone, Raymond or Shadrach can answer this, then I go to the next question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think as Lois was saying, there's always the linkage. So at this level, almost since you are still within social sciences, there will be some level of linkages. So you try, sit down yourself, find some courses that you do that apply to that one that you have, and the new master's program you are trying to apply to, create a linkage and then direct it there, and then you can use some work experiences that you have done. Sometimes I think not actually when we say these things, I mean I'm an educator, so I know the challenges within the systems. When I say it is not to critique us in the bad way, but it's just to tell you that these are things we need to do. We need to be able to brainstorm. Brainstorming is a very, very challenging thing you need to do. So sit down, look at the work experiences you have, brainstorm. Which of these do you think that I can use that is relevant to whatever because sometimes it's not always direct. You need to think outside the box. And when you think and you're able to get it, and you're able to create the linkages as well. And as I said earlier on, when you're able to bring an idea that makes the admission team or review team like, wow, we never thought about this, you move high up to the top 1% of it as well. So it also does not mean go and look for weird ideas. I beg you, let me I bring that caution there. But take your time, brainstorm, try and create a linkage. If you're able to do that, by God's grace, you are good to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. So the next question Emanuela asked was, can you send your spouse along when you get a scholarship? Raymond or Shadrach?
Okay. I think I'll just give a brief description about immigration, and then Raymond can take it from there. Since he has a spouse, I don't have a spouse.
Yeah, Raymond is the experienced
Unfortunately.
one.
Yeah, but I think it will depend on the immigration policy of the country. So you look at the immigration in the UK, for instance, that I can talk for master's scholarship, you're not allowed to bring your spouse. You're allowed to bring your dependent or your spouse only for PhD scholarships. The master's accepts the master's research, which is usually 2 or 3 years, but then usually in the UK, you don't even get research for master's programs. So it's safe to say when you have a PhD in the UK, you can bring your spouse, your children along. However, if you apply for a master's, nah, there's no chance. So Raymond, please take it from there.
Pressure. I hope you can see my wife's head over here. She's running away.
Fine.
She's getting ready for church as well. I'll join her at church as well. But I mean, the key point is, so as you were saying, immigration rules are the most important thing. So even as you're applying to the school, you need to go and check what is the immigration rules of the country and look for updated immigration rules. The immigration rules are changing by like sometimes every 2 weeks, new rules are coming. So just be abreast of it. And even when the rules come, there are always exceptions. I think one thing we need to learn as people from our side of Sub-Saharan Africa is asking questions. Sometimes this might be the general rule for everybody. There might be exceptions. It's not complicated. If you don't reach out, you will not be able to find what are the other things that can be done as well. So let's learn to reach out. So when you reach out, but for most scholarships, I mean, generally across bodies, you're able to move with your spouse and your dependent, except there have been some slight changes in the rules quite recently. So you look at all of this. So if you are somebody you cannot live without your wife, or let's say, sorry. Don't worry. She feels shy. My wife is very shy. Don't worry. So she's turning my camera this way. Don't worry. So I mean, if you are somebody who cannot stay without your wife for 6 months or 1 year, some men cannot do like that. Then make sure you're applying to a country whereby when you are going with your wife. But if you know you ask for you are joined the Baptist and Co, you can stay like 2 years without them. At least apply anywhere later on. They can join you through any other route as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it all boils down to the immigration rules too. And also, most of the times, they want to see the funds. Like, if the fully funded scholarship, when you're bringing them, it can be because you're bringing them as a dependent. So, if you bring them and they become a burden to the country, they don't want that. So, it's most of the times the funds and also the type of scholarship too. So, for example, here in Austria, whether master's or PhD or bachelor's, so far as you have the funds to show that like you can be able to bring your dependents and cater for the both of you, you can bring them. But it varies from country to country. So yeah. Okay, Emanuela is asking, when is the best process to start applying? Is it when you are still doing your NSS or after you are done?
Baba, I
Yeah.
think there's a question from Rutherford maybe you haven't seen. He was asking sources or sites where you can get
Sources or sites where I can get more updates about scholarship. Dear young graduates, Dear
Thank you.
young graduates, that's the first source I'll tell you. Dear young graduates, we post scholarships on our LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. It's Friday scholarship bonanza, but I've forgotten the Monday and Wednesday, the 10. But yes, check Dear Young Graduates and also LinkedIn too. And I think we have other websites like Opportunity Corner, Opportunity Desk. Google too is there. Google, like just type
AI too is there. I mean,
AI.
now this is quite related easier.
Yes, like we live in an information world. It's easy for you to get information about a lot of things. So you just have to research. But the first point of contact should be Dear Young Graduates. Like what else? So yeah, Dear Young Graduates, Google Opportunity Desk, Opportunity Corner. You can use AI to scout for scholarships. So yeah. Emanuela's last question was, yeah, when is the best process? When is the best time to start applying? Is it when you are still doing your MSS or after you are done?
Should I take it? Shadrach?
Shadrach.
Okay, don't worry. Let me start. So, I mean, if you want to wait till you're done with your national service, then it means you have finished in July, August. Then it means you're going to apply for the next year. But if you really want to go immediately after the national service, you actually have to even start preparing when you are in your final year, second semester. Because, this, as Dr. Les was saying, it's a tedious, laborious process. If you don't get tired, if you don't get discouraged, then it means you're not doing it right. Surprisingly, it means you're actually not doing it right. So give yourself a timeline of at least a year. Because, I mean, if you want to apply, so like as we are doing this as of now, all those who want to apply to school for fall 2026, which is preferably August, September 2026, this is the time to start. Surprisingly, some people will sit down when we get to Christmas after they are finished chewing their Christmas chicken, and they're, oh, my New Year resolution, I want to go to school. That is when they now think about trying to apply. By that time, most of the, I mean, scholarships for Chevening, Commonwealth, and co deadlines have all elapsed. The priority deadlines for schools have also elapsed. So you are now battling with somebody say, my tree will say in Cassian, the Akasian, the little that is left. So please give yourself ample time. And note that, you see, one of the most, not say annoying, but the most painful thing would be when you have done your application and recommenders are not able to submit their recommendation letters on time. And as Lois was saying, give them time. Don't wait till you're kind of saying the 2 days to the deadline. They're like, oh, Professor, please, I sent you a please. You don't expect him or her to stop whatever he's doing for the next 2 days, all because of yours. So give yourself time. And the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time to start is now. So as we finish today's session, all the key things we have said, you mentioned websites, academic CV, SOP. Start doing all of these things. Start doing research on schools and stuff like that. Now, if you are now about to start NSS, then start right now. If you already finished NSS, you can use the next 2 months and apply for spring if possible, because spring which is January 2026, is possible for some of the countries in the world. Otherwise, start preparing. Use the next 6 months to 1 year to apply for next year. Next year, by this time, when we are having the Scholarship 101 series, you will join us as one of our panelists from the country that you have gone to. Thank you.
I think Raymond has said it all. Start applying now. That's the best time. And when did you start applying for your scholarships? Shadrach, Raymond? For me, I started doing my national service. Like I even started before I was done with my second semester. I started asking my supervisor questions about application, graduate school application, and everything. And during the national service, I just zoomed in and immediately, in fact, I got my scholarship when I was doing the national service, like because it was Erasmus Mundus and I applied in February. I applied during the deadline, like the day that it was supposed to end. That was when I sent in my application and I got the reply, I think, in March. And I went to school in October. So you should start early. You should start on time and yeah, gather all your documents and don't do things in a rush because when you're doing things in a rush, it reflects in your work. Like if you do rush work, they will see that this is rush work. If you do it with all your heart too, it will reflect. So just take your time and start early. Shadrach.
Yeah, so I think you and Raymond, you've said everything. The key here is to start early. Personally, for my PhD, I started when I started my master's. So the key here, I think Raymond mentioned earlier, is that you have to know yourself, you have to know what you want and where you're going and plan ahead. Because so the thing is, you're applying for a lot of scholarships. You are going to get some of the scholarships. Many of them are going to turn you down. Even the ones you get, you're going to get conditions that are not favorable for you.
Yeah.
You may have to turn them down. And in my case, it happened like twice or three times. So I applied when I was doing my master's. I had time. So the thing is that don't apply when you are desperate. Apply when you have time, when you are doing something else. So because you're going to get rejections, and like Dr. Loy said earlier, don't take it personal. So when you have something going on and you get rejections, you'll be able to deal with it. But if you are done with your NSS and then you're desperate, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, and then you're getting rejections on top of that, it will destroy your mental health. So start when you have something doing, start when you are somewhere. Just as Raymond said, the best time to have started was yesterday. The second best time is now. Begin. You will get some of the applications. Some of them will give you very small funding, right? Or like you want to take your spouse, some of them will not give you the opportunity. You can turn them down. And then you go for other application and apply for what is favorable for you. Yeah. So that's what I have to say.
So planning ahead. Plan
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry, I wanted to chip in that just as you said, some will turn you down, but I think one thing I've learned is to have motivation from the little gains that you had. That if at least you've had an admission, it means you are on the right track. Even though you didn't get funded, people get discouraged when they don't get funding. As long as you get an admission, it means that at least you are among a certain criteria. That should be the positivity you pick from it. That at least I had an admission to this program among all the students across the whole world that applied. You got an admission. Then you ask yourself, what were one or two things I did? And that reminds me, yes, please. When you get an admission, okay, or a decision, and the decision is not favorable, you are allowed to ask for feedback. Most of these scholarship applications would be willing to give you feedback. Not all will do, but some would. Let me give an example. Let me give a very classical example. So I applied for a PhD in educational studies at University of North Carolina at Greensboro. I can mention because I have that relationship with the professor. Now I got a rejection. Bang bang. No, rejected. I was quite sad because it was one we had the initial, everything really looked on point. Everything was, I knew this one year, Anya, sure banker, I'll get it. It didn't work. When I reached out to the professor, Professor Vicky, I'm just that's her name, yeah. So she took her time and explained to me that based on this and this, we think that was why you weren't taken, because this year, funding was quite very limited in the States as well. So that was one of the reasons. And then he said that you can look at applying to schools that have a bigger cohort. So that also talks about intentionality and being for the program. Then she also said that one of the things you need to do when you're applying for a PhD program is that your PhD SOP should sell your passion. So like, what did she mean? Then she explained that, you see, PhD is daunting and you might get discouraged. So if we cannot see your passion in there, the point is, how would you navigate the challenges when they come? So even though you've written a very good SOP, what she said I should do is that get somebody who really knows you. Let that person read that SOP and ask the person, is my passion communicated within the SOP? If your passion is well articulated, then it means you are good to go. It means that when the reviewers are reviewing, they can also see your passion in it, because there are certain key traits or underlying traits that you need to be able to push through there. So these are some of the things that I think we can do to get success as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. So, those of us on Facebook too, you can put your questions in the comment section. We have like 25 minutes to finish. So, I think this question was answered by Lois. Uh, are there scholarships that allow straight PhD after undergraduate level? And Dr. Lois answered, yes, please. The US and Canada mostly have graduate assistantships or research assistantship positions that allow straight PhD from undergraduates. So yeah, there are, but you have to be extremely excellent or distinguished students. You can't just go from undergrad to like PhD. You should be very outstanding. That's like the criteria. Someone is
Can I
asking. Yes, please. Yes,
sorry,
please.
can I help you there? So this is a point one of my friend Christian Penn State. This is what he says. He says that watch, you are using undergrad to apply. Somebody's using masters to apply. And you think that because you are a first class student, they'll take you over the masters. He says no. So see that number one, somebody's already ahead of you. So what are the other things that you have that can push you? So that is when you hit hard on the other aspect, your research experience, your teaching experience, your volunteerism, your technological skills, data analytical skills. So don't, when you're applying with a direct undergrad, don't put all your focus on your GPA. Move outside the box, tick the other boxes, and then make sure that then you have a better profile that you can then compete with those who are applying with the masters. Thank you.
I think I'll add something very little to what Raymond said. PhD is a very, very lonely space and a daunting space. It's a kind of programming situation where you be in and you might not even have classmates. Forget about it. You're on your own. And the stuff that you know, your professor, your supervisor, they don't even know. You get to a point in your PhD, no one knows what you know, no one can help you. So it comes down to motivation. So you're an undergrad, you want to apply for a PhD. What is your research experience? That's what they are looking at. What is your motivation? Right? You can have your first classes, they don't care. They need to know that this 4 years journey, you will not give up, because there are a lot of people who give up in their second years and then that's it. But then they want to know, okay, we have a grant, we are sponsoring they are sponsoring you with this money. They don't want you to disappoint them. Because mind you, it goes against them. It goes against their reputation, their professors. Because usually when we think about scholarships, we think it's money which is already there. It's not there. These professors, they write for the grants, right? And when they add it to their CVs. And when you're a PhD student and then they're sponsoring you and then you pass, they add your credentials to their credentials. So you go to this website and then it is there. You read their profiles and then they have supervised 10 PhD students, 20 master students. It adds to their criterion to gain next grants, future grants when they're applying for that. So they don't want you to disappoint them. They need to know your sole motivation. So that is what, and if you are going from undergrad to PhD, first of all, your research experience, and then your willingness not to give up in life. So whatever you can write, that will show them that you are so interested, you have the passion for that. I think that will qualify you even if you don't have a master's degree.
iPhone is asking, please okay, Lois answered it, so I'll just give the question and the answer. Could you please help us with a platform where we could have mentors to guide and direct us on how to structure compelling CV and SOP. I have a CV, though I'll be glad to have a mentor to cross-check it for me. Lois answered, you can use LinkedIn to find someone within your field who have gotten scholarships. Reach out to them and ask them that you are applying for scholarships and you would want them to mentor you. So yeah, that's the answer. You can reach out to them. And I think that dear young graduates, we used to have scholarship buddy. However, this is high street, so I won't say what I would have said in high street. But the thing is that we got a number of people signing up, mentors even like being available, but sometimes, or let me say just sometimes, the mentees are not present, they don't really show effort or enthusiasm. So yeah, that's all I have to say. You can take whatever you want to take from it. So yeah, that's it. Edward Opari says, does current professional experience affect one's scholarship when the program they want to apply is different? I think that for scholarships, it's more about academic experience. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know about Shadrach and Raymond, but it's more about research, academic experience. So if your professional field does not, it's not really in linkage with the scholarship you're applying to, I don't think it's very important to add it to it or yeah. But I don't know about Raymond and Shadrach, please.
Yes, so I think there's something we call transferable skills. Okay,
Mhm.
so that is one thing that we all need to learn. I mean, that the skills you have, like Shadrach said, from electronics, was materials to electronics, right? Yes. So what are the key things that I have within this professional skills, the professional experience that I have as of now that I can transfer it? That's why I talked about brainstorm. Let's be able to brainstorm. Take your time, or even speak to other people. Sometimes it's funny how sometimes an idea can come from somebody you never expected. The person can just say something and it shoots your brain in a particular way. So look for all of these transferable skills and then let it go. But even before that, what you can always, as I said, you can always reach out, send an email ahead of time. I'm trying to apply for this. This is my profile. Do I meet the general requirements? Is there an opportunity for me to apply? They would give you a fair answer. Yes, no. Then you know what to do. Sometimes I think we come from a setup or a society. I mean, general socialization is those who ask questions are stubborn people or hiding. So you go a child goes a teacher question, oh, question down, you're worrying me. So the attitude of asking questions, we lose sight of it. Even when people don't know the thing, the teacher is saying the thing, everybody sitting down, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. You're not too sure. Send an email. They'll get back to you. Then you know what to do. It can be a yes or a no, and then you know what to do.
Question is about Erasmus Mundus. Can one apply to one or more? Yes, you can apply to three programs under the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So you're not limited to only one program. You can apply to, I think, a maximum of three programs. I don't know if they've changed it for this year, but it's mostly maximum of three. And you don't have to pay any application fee, from what I know, because I didn't pay application fee. So yeah. Edward Opari is asking, did your EPL come from your undergraduate school? What's EPL? Does anyone know? Please, Edward, can you explain what EPL is in the comment section? Because me, I'm thinking English Premier League, but I don't.
Well, maybe was it trying to say expression of interest, but the our English proficiency letter. Oh wow! Oh my god, what an abbreviation! Oh,
Of your undergraduate school. So in the University of Ghana, you go to, I think, the language center for your proficiency letter. I don't know about Ken UST and the other universities, but you can check the university website and see where you can get your English proficiency letter.
for KNS too, it's also the English department,
Oh, okay.
mostly the language department. So I think it cuts across. But as you said, check the department or contact the admissions officer of graduate school. I mean,
Yeah.
whichever main office of contact, definitely.
I want to add one thing about the language certificate. So I had one guy that I was mentoring for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. He gained the scholarship and they told him that he has to submit a language certificate. Like, is it TOEFL? I don't know the language certificates that we have, but they asked him to submit it, and he sent me a letter, an email that, oh, this is what's happening. And I told him that he should write back to the university, telling them that, oh, he did the courses in English. So this is his English proficiency letter, and that's if he is allowed to do the courses without submitting a language certificate, but English proficiency letter, and they accepted it. So sometimes, if you don't ask questions or if you don't knock, the door won't be open. You just take a trial like that, and you might lose the scholarship. So you have to take the initiative. Be willing to take initiatives and ask them questions. So yeah. Emanuela is asking, hey, Emanuela, today you came for us. Please, when it comes to recommendation letters, will your recommender have to send letters for all applications? Or you will keep the recommendation, then apply next time to the rest of your scholarships? Who wants to go?
I think that would depend on the school. Some schools will accept an open recommendation letter. In that case, you can go for a recommendation letter from your supervisor, which is not addressed to any school. Other schools would want a letter which is specifically addressed to them. Other schools too will send a link to your supervisor so that they just fill a form online. So it depends on the school and then what they are actually looking out for.
Yeah, I think it's depends on the school and what they are looking out for. So they will tell you how to send the recommendation letter when you apply. They'll let you know, or maybe you should send it through this link, send the link to your supervisor, or they'll tell you to submit it. So it depends.
And I think it's important for us to add that one of the most difficult parts of applying for scholarships is recommendation letters. Getting it is so difficult, especially in Ghana. I don't know why the lecturers don't give recommendation letters. I know for KNSA, for instance, you need to pay money before you are given recommendation letters.
If you're on the highway.
And it's so difficult. I mean, like getting a lecturer to write your recommendation can take over 6 months.
Wow.
And I don't know why. So I think maybe it's worth when you are in the university to get closer to the lecturers. I think those who get recommendation letters are the TAs.
Yes.
If the university is so difficult, I don't know about you, Raymond. I don't know about you, Baba. I don't know about your
For
experience.
me, it was easy because I was active in class, and I was also most of the times going to my supervisors and worrying them, in quotes. I was like worrying them. So like they knew me in their office, like I was having interaction with them. So if you are that bench banker kind of person who doesn't like to participate or like ask questions, go to your lecturer and at least have a rapport with your lecturer, it will be very difficult. And if they see that like you are not really serious in their class, like you spot the case. So it's very important to have a good rapport with your lecturers and also be very serious in class. Yes. So yeah, it's difficult sometimes to get, and when you're at TA too, it's easy. Like it's the easiest route to get a recommendation letter if you're a TA. But if you are doing your national service outside, then you have to send them an email. Sometimes when they see your email, they'll just like, who is this person? They can't even remember your face or your name. So it's difficult. It's difficult to get a recommendation letter. But if you are still doing your bachelor's, you should like start now, like get some tactics to have a good rapport with your lecturer. And yeah, but I think for my department, material science and engineering, University of Ghana, the lecturers are very good, like they are very friendly, so it's very easy. I'm speaking for my department, so I don't know about your department.
So I think as Shadrach, these are the challenges. So sometimes, I mean, as you said, you are worrying them. Boys, as soon as you close now, away back door, nobody will have time to go to the lecturers office and stuff like that. But I mean, you see, we always say that what we believe, the reason why we are doing this is that those behind us will hit even bigger scholarships than us. So we have gone through it. We have seen the challenges. We have been able to find some ways or navigate around it. So we are speaking to you. So if you know you are in school as of now, consciously, subconsciously, build a rapport with your lecturer. Don't do only one, multiple. Be free with everybody. Let them know you one or two or stuff like that. Assuming you have finished school, you're not able to build a rapport, you are doing your national service. Let me say one thing. Everybody likes help. Everybody likes to be helped. As at now, some of the lecturers might be marking their midsem and stuff like that. You can just go to the department, find one day or two. Go to, if it's Legon, you're in Accra, just walk there. Hello, sir, I was passing by, I had some stuff to do. I just want to say hi to you. Have a conversation with him. Ask him, says there anything I can do to help? I mean, he might have something to do, and volunteer. Don't go with the mindset you are going to collect funding. Or I mean, I'm going to take the recommendation letter. Build that rapport of you being helpful or useful to him in the time being, once or twice. Later on, one of the conversation, he even ask, "What are you doing in your life?" "Oh, so I'm even planning on applying to grad school." Then he himself, "Oh, so the num they did num." So you have to give something to get something. It should have been quite easier, like how you are saying your department is doing, but surprisingly, this is the high street, so we will not like Shabba said, we will not talk about it. Maybe we can meet back door, we'll talk about why these situations are so. But this is how you can navigate it as well. There are other things you can do, but I think it's not, since it's the high street, you can't see everything here, but at least find a way around it, build a rapport, and then we'll see how it goes.
So let me take a question from Facebook, then Lucy would go ahead with her question. So there's someone on Facebook, Komi Wolanyo Morto. Hello, I'm an MPhil student in Ghana. In a case where I want to apply for graduate assistantship, now I have difficulty finding lectures to recommend my decision because I'm still on my thesis. Is there any way out you can help me in getting recommendation from these lectures I don't understand the question. Sorry.
No, let me help you. So more or less, like, she's doing an MPhil, she's not done with her thesis, but most likely she might be trying to apply to a program. Sometimes you can apply with the undergrad, not necessarily that. Some schools didn't take partial work done and say it should be completed by this date, expected date. So you take your coursework so far, and then so she's trying to ask for how she can get some recommendations and stuff like that. So what you can do, best thing is reach out. I mean, everything starts from somewhere. I'm sure you might be lectured by maybe at least 5 professors. There might be somebody your face looks nice to the person. At least that nobody likes you, but at least there's one or two people. Reach out to the person, or you can even reach out to your class prefect or class rep, course rep. Let the person guide you and go and say, "Oh, sir, please." Everything starts from somewhere. The worst you can get is no. If you sit there and say, you will not get anything. So you reach out. And then when you reach out, you start from there. Sometimes you cannot get through to them directly. You can pass through their TAs. You can ask the TA, or what I want to. So the TA might give you some tips. I won't say it. Here's the high street. But whatever you need to do to be able to do that, then you reach out. When you reach out and explain that, oh, you're actually willing to finish the MPhil, but the scholarship is said that you need to apply 1 year ahead of time or 6 months ahead of time. So by the time you would have finished, then it will be eligible. But if you want to wait before you are applying, it will go against you have to wait another 2 years. So that is what. So you see, everything comes by explanation, conversation. When they understand that, then they are willing enough. Okay, we can do this for you based on whatever you have done so far here. They can do that for you as well. So that's what I can say. I don't know what Shadrach will add something to it.
Oh no, you've actually
said it all, yeah. And he or she also asked, how do I go about my SOP when I've not engaged in any departmental programs like teaching assistants?
I think maybe he or she missed the earlier part of it. So what I'll suggest is, I mean, when we are done with this, the Meta would reload everything and put it back as a replay. Take your time, play from the beginning, from the initial, I think, first hour or so. We took our time and explained how the SOPs can be done. So since you are getting to the end, so they can then take your time and then be able to get it very well. I think that will help as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we have like final 4 minutes. Lucy, this is like the speed round. Please unmute and ask your question.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. This will be brief. It's not a question. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please, we can.
Yeah, mine is just an add-on to what Raymond and Shadrach said concerning the recommendation letter. So this is you are telling the lecturer is telling something about you, and so they cannot lie. Myself, I completed University of Ghana Business School, and when I needed a recommendation letter, I didn't struggle because I had done my plan, being a course rep and going to the lecturers as Raymond and Shadrach were saying. So just in the blue, they cannot say that you are this when you are not. That's probably the reason why it's sometimes difficult because their names are on the letter. It's traveling outside the coast of Ghana. And probably if anything comes up, I'm not saying anything should come up, but if anything comes up, they will be held responsible and their profession is on the line. So it's not being wicked or not giving out the recommendation letter. Myself, I had a lot of lecturers I could get them from because I was proactive. So whoever is asking, you start from somewhere. You don't just complete school and then reach out to a lecturer who you never even answered the question in class. And you want the lecturer to put their names on the letter. That's how a lecturer explained it to me. A professor explained it to me that their integrity is on the line. So please try and do your homework well. And then the last question before you called my name about not completing. So my husband was pursuing his MPhil at the business school when he got the opportunity to come to the UK to do his PhD, and he hadn't finished the MPhil then, but the PhD he got with funding, so it was both funding and the admission. He was allowed to graduate from his MPhil before he commenced. So they waited for him to. It's like they waited for him to get the certificate, and then he now sent it to them, and then he came to the UK to come and pursue his PhD. So it's an individual, on an individual basis. So if your lecturers are not helping you or your immediate supervisors are not helping you, please reach out to someone else. Sometimes they might think you are too. It's like, oh, per one, you are not. You have to finish with one, but let them know that where you are going to, you need to start from somewhere. So I wouldn't suggest that sit there and fold your arm if they are not helping you. Reach out to someone else, even if it's outside the university. Yours is to secure your funding or admission if it's a PhD before you even finish the masters, because Ghana processes, it can take long. So this is just a bit of information. So I also did my MPhil in Ghana, and I'm currently pursuing my PhD in the UK. And it's all a matter of, even when I was outside Ghana, I was still able to get recommendation letter because they knew me. So just try and be good and try and be in their good books. Even if you ask, he said, who Raymond said, you pass by, mark some of their scripts, chat with them, and at the end, they will be glad to help you because they know you and they know what you are capable of doing. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Lucy. I think I would contact you backdoor for a session because this short 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you've actually said a lot. Thank you so much, Lucy Gabriel.
I think to add to what Lucy said about the husband, yes, you can get a funding, you can get a scholarship, and then they'll hold on for you, they'll wait for you. But how these
Yes.
grants work is that the money does not expire. So far as you write a grant and then you get the award letter, the money is waiting. You can write for a delay of project, which will grant you a 12-month wait. So you can be waited for. So don't wait, apply now. If you win it, they can wait for you. Yeah, so that's very good.
Yeah.
Yes, I think just to add to what Lucy said, I think one of the key things she said was she was a class rep. People nobody wants to be a class rep. They'll be carrying this and up, carrying projectors, and nobody wants that. But as I said, if you know where you are going to, you do some of these things that will help you too. So you see that even when she wasn't in the country, it was very easy for her to get these kind of recommendation letters and stuff like that. So please, I beg everybody, especially those that are in school or whatever, whichever way, please find something to do. Be useful one way or the other. And then I think another point we need to hammer about the recommendation letters. Recommendation letters are not only coming from academic or faculty people. As we said, every scholarship has its own requirements. Some will say that all three should come from academic. And they just say that scholarship will be Brepa or Ghana. But sorry to say that if it says it has to be a mixture, so maybe 2 faculty and then 1 professional, or it says a mixture. So depending on how you do it, but preferably if you have 3, preferably 2 faculty, 1 professional. If they give you the combination yourself, preferably 2 faculty, 1 professional. Sometimes you can get 2 professional ones, whereby then the person who is if I say professional, I mean somebody you are working with at your workplace. So maybe your boss, your head of department, or whatever. Then those ones, they should highly emphasize some of your skills that are relevant to academia. They shouldn't talk about you come to work early and stuff, and it is there, but that's not the focus of why you are applying for the scholarship. So your analytical skills, how you have presented at conferences and workshops, how you are timely, how you are innovative, all those other things, they should try and hammer those points very well in your recommendation letters. Then it is able to match up to quite similar to when you're able to get that. But as we say, there's always a way around it. Find a way around it, pray about it, and then by God's grace, things will go on well for you.